Hey YouTube, what's going on today? Hope you guys are well. All right, let's do a little Wednesday video. So I haven't been making videos the last few days because I've been under a little bit of stress. Look at my screen real quick and you can see that I've changed this screen layout. All right, I'll tell you why I've changed the layout first of all. So I'm actually emulating the layout of a friend of mine or a mentor that I look up to in the trading world. So you can see here that I've sort of changed the way the tape looks and made it look relatively more simple. This is a recording of yesterday's screen, right? September 22nd, 2020. And you can see that I've colored my tapes differently and I've made them more apparent on my screens. When I'm looking at this, I can clearly see if the trade was a buy or a sell. And I've got two tapes here set up, one of them being the NASDAQ contract over 3 lots. And then this one is the triple Qs, anything over 2,000 shares. Up here we've got block orders, but those are less important, right? Then we have the power meters here on the left. This one is for the NASDAQ, this one's for the Qs, and this one is the total volume for the last 30 minutes. It refreshes every 30 minutes. So that's pretty much what I'm looking at right now. This is the simplest sort of thing that I've come up with in the short term here. What you're looking at here is me trading yesterday. You saw that I just sold a call that I was long at that point yesterday. So I was trading some options. That would have been my first trade of the day. I would have been long some calls around this sort of pullback here, and then I was taking profit on the way up. The thing about trading options is that it can be trickier than trading the underlying stock or the futures because again, there's slippage and market makers mess with the prices depending on their hedging, right? With options trading, market makers actually have a get away with jail free card to overprice or underprice the option based on hedging that they have to do for their own account. And this is a known thing, by the way. That's why with options, you have to be a little bit more tactical to trade them. And also you can't be sticking around those trades too long because there is time decay. I've been trading options the last few days. So again, we'll just go over that. So again, that was my first trade of the day. Let's move forward here. Okay, so it would have been at this moment right here where I started to scale into some put options. I was starting to get interested in the market as being a short here, for a number of reasons, mainly because we were sort of forming this bullish pattern going up into this resistance general area, and there was a lot of open interest on the long side of the market. So that's kind of what got me interested in scaling to some puts. You can see I got filled on that 268 put. One thing that stood out to me, now guys, this is a tape reading trick for you, and it works very well on the NASDAQ contract, is when you see buyers on the tape and the price is not going up, what does that mean? All right, I'm gonna let you answer that. When you see sellers on the tape and the price is not going down, what does that mean? I'm gonna let you answer that in the comments. That's pretty much the thing. Now, I don't have to go more in detail than that, okay? I want you to use your common sense, all right? So if you're seeing buyers hit into the market, guys, and the price is not going up freely, not taking out the offers, then that's a bit of a red flag for the bulls, all right? So I was seeing this all through this sort of behavior here. Now, again, we're gonna let this play out. So that was the first time I got in. I think I got in a little more as we traded lower, but I was looking for about this 990 to this 980 to shake out some of these bulls, all right? So you can see here, the price is freely moving lower on sellers. And that's something notable. That gives me a bias to the downside at that point, okay? So you can see the tape's all red. We see a lot of good downside bias. And I'm looking to see what the buyers are gonna say to answer that, all right? So if we skip forward a bit, you're going to see that we traded down to this VWAP. So then we saw some buyers come in and we popped right back up to this 25 to 30 general area. Buyers, so there we go. We took out some offers, squeezed out some weaker shorts. Now this is something I'm trying to get better at, is you have to clearly establish what are you looking for in this trade. Are you scalping the market? Or are you looking for a larger rotation? So basically, when I'm looking at these markets, I basically have two sort of approaches. One of them is the scalping approach, where you go with a very short-term bias, and that's really good for scalping off the DOM. And the other one would be looking for those longer rotations. And again, those take longer to play out. So you need to be looking at the tape when we're trading at crucial prices, all right? So you can see how these biases are sort of developing in the market. And again, you're always putting bets on at the end of the day, guys. Everything is a bet. It's just about the probability of those bets and understanding if it's a good bet or not. So I was betting at this point that we were going to see a pullback. So again, we're seeing a little bit of a rally back up to this 30. And this is basically the moment of truth here. If we start rallying back up to 40, then I'm pretty much wrong in the short term, but I would have been willing to scale in a little more at this point and basically keep a stop above the highs generally. Because again, I'm looking for a bit of a longer term rotation here. So you have to give the trade a little bit more breathing room. So there you go again. The price is moving freely down on sellers. And now we're seeing a couple of buy orders. Look at these buy orders. and the price did not go up on that at all, there's downside pressure in this market. So when you see the prices sort of trying to go lower, you're seeing buyers hit in, but it's not going higher, that's a red flag for the bulls. That's good to keep your bear bias at that point. These are little tape reading things I've picked up over months of watching this stuff and losing tons and tons of money. So yeah, and there you go again, more buyers hitting in, bit of absorption, not hitting, more buyers, but we just traded lower. So, you know, when you see this, so again, it's the same old thing. Buyers hitting in, not moving higher. Buyers hitting in, not moving higher. So again, this is just a big red flag. So what ends up happening is we continue to trade lower as there's an offer holding there. We sooner or later trade down to these 90s, and then the longs pretty much start to panic. So that's where I get out of that put. I'm not sure if I got out of all of it or half of it, but that's where I sort of was looking to take profit. Market continued to trade lower at this point to about the 80. All right, so once we saw this move down here to this 970, I was interested in a long trade for a scalp, pretty much back to the moving average. So you're going to see me, as soon as I see the prices freely moving up on buyers and not moving down on sellers. So again, nice selling there, but the price is kind of chopping around the 70. As soon as I see we have a bit of upside in the market wants to trade higher a bit, I start to scale into some calls. So we trade down to this 72 again. More sellers, and then we trade back up. Now we're going up on buyers. So this is good for a long side bias at this point. So there you go. You see me getting filled on a call option right there. There we go. We trade higher. I would have been looking to take profit pretty much around here. So let's see if I get that. And again, with options, it's a little tricky sometimes to take profit with limit order. So one thing I would recommend to you guys, listen up here, use a relative order instead of a limit order, because with a relative order or peg to primary, there you go, you see I sold the thing. With a relative order, you're basically giving an offset to a limit order to say, I want to sell at 380, but I'm also allowing a 2-cent offset. So if there's a fill at 378, I will accept that fill. So you're looking to be a little bit more aggressive when you're taking profit, because you know that, especially with out of the money options, sometimes the market makers can be quite cheap when it comes to raising their offering prices. Using a relative order to get in on the bids when you're trying to be more aggressive, and using it to also scale out on the offers when you're trying to be more aggressive and get out, that's very important. So I noticed a big difference yesterday when I was using those relative orders. So I would recommend that for options traders instead of a plain limit order. All right, so those were the 3 trades of yesterday, pretty much 3 for 3 in the morning, and I was up probably about 80 bucks. And then started the bad behavior. What happened after this, guys, is I overtraded. As the market continued to trade here, I continued to trade. I was up, I was continuing with the fact that, all right, we're doing good here, we're probably gonna continue. But the thing that I forgot to realize was that the market was slowly getting less volatile. Now, when the market's getting less volatile, you need to be more tactical and pump the brakes a bit, especially with getting in with market orders and all that stuff. So you're better off getting in for those patient fills, waiting on the limit order book sometimes, you know, trying to get in at a strategic area more than trying to pay up offers and using adaptive algo to get you in quicker. And again, you're going to be paying more to get into trades. When the market is less volatile, you need to know how to pump the brakes. That's what I messed up yesterday big time. And now as the market continued to trade here after 11 o'clock, I was still being aggressive. And that's how I messed up. And guess what? I ended up in a position that I didn't really want to be in. And then I held it. And then I became careless, and then I took a big loss. So that's me being careless at the end of the day. And I need to take a break from trading now, because I notice these careless behavior patterns that I'm experiencing, these gambler tendencies. I'm basically being careless a lot of the time with my trading. So I definitely need to take a couple weeks off just to reestablish a few things here, to reestablish myself at the end of the day, guys. It's not easy, but I want to say one thing before this video ends. So trading has forced me to dig deeper into myself. It made me realize that I have a slight obsessive compulsive disorder, and I'll tell you why. So look, I'm only 26 years old, but since I was 10 years old, I did music and only music, all right, to the point where my early relationships were affected by the fact that I was always doing music. I would often neglect important events because I would rather be sitting in my room practicing guitar for 3 hours straight. And in that moment, I didn't know that I was implanting this behavior pattern in me of basically being so obsessive about what I was interested in. In that case, it was music, and now it's trading. So on this YouTube channel, guys, since I started it, it was pretty much like nonstop making videos and nonstop trading, to the point where you're literally locked into a zone where I'm obsessed with trading. I'm addicted to trading. I love it. It's a great thing. But I need to be more responsible and realize that if I do too much of it, I'm going to harm myself, because trading is not the type of thing you can just do over and over again and just win all the time and expect the market to pay you consistently. Taking major losses in trading made me realize that I am addicted to it and that I have an obsessive disorder and that it needs to be taken care of. So what I'm going to do to take care of it is basically take a step back. And now that I've realized that I do have some of this slight obsessive compulsive disorder when it comes to things that I really enjoy, I need to take a step back. So I'm going to take a step back and probably get back to live trading in October. And that's going to be the end of the story, guys. So I wish you guys all the best. Thanks for watching the video and take care. Bye.